Hello, I'm Don Gentile. I'm with HyperFRAME Research, and I'm here today with Renen Hallak, who's the CEO and founder of Vast Data. Welcome.
It's great to be with you.
Thanks for sitting down with me. So we're here in Salt Lake City. This is Vast Forward, which is the company's first user conference. Congratulations on that. We've got more than 1,200 people in attendance here. That's over 400 customers that are here across global base. And the discussions here are reflecting Vast's growing presence in enterprise AI infrastructure and the broader shift taking place across the industry. So Renen, thanks for taking the time today. This is your first user conference.
Yeah.
So we're bringing together customers and partners from around the world. And how do you reflect on that journey from founding the company 10 years ago to this moment?
I don't know how it happened. We're very, very lucky in the fact that we've been very successful in growing at the pace that we have. When we started thinking about this first user conference, we attached it to our sales kickoff because we weren't sure anyone would come. And so we know we have about 300, 400 go-to-market people joining. And we said we'll have another 50 outside people. And it ended up being the vast majority of people are not Vastronauts. And so we're very humbled. And it's great to see all of these customers and partners that we've been building with over the last decade, all in the same place. A lot of hugs and a lot of good stories being shared.
It's great energy. Yeah. So when you founded Vast and you're thinking about those core architectural principles, right, when you guide the company, how does that vision still kind of hold true today in what you're building?
From an architecture perspective, our guiding principle was always scale. And scale in performance, scale in resilience, scale in capacity, scale in cost efficiency. And I think as the world evolves into AI, all of those things become a lot more important than they used to be. When we started, a petabyte used to sound like a lot, and 100 CPUs was a lot of compute. And today we have clusters that are multi-exabytes and that are hundreds of thousands of GPUs. And so the more we need that scale, the more relevant we become, because our architecture really does get better as it gets bigger.
So now we're talking about systems going into production, right? And how has that shift really influenced Vast architecture and its place within this modern infrastructure that we're building?
So I think the architecture stays the same. The core of the architecture, the disaggregated shared everything, that's what we built everything on top of. But over the years, we add more and more parts. We obviously started from storage. And over the years, we added database and became a data platform and a data engine. And we really are trying to fill in that full software infrastructure layer that's required for these new AI applications. And as we do that, we find that we need to add security. We need to add observability. We need to add all of the parts that are today inhibiting enterprises from moving these workloads into production to make it easy for them. And that's what we love. We love interacting with our customers and solving their problems and having our team act as an extension of their team. That's what we wake up for every morning.
Well, I guess at what point and along that journey did you realize that Vast is becoming this foundational software layer that the AI systems are going to depend on? Was there a moment or a particular revelation that you had?
I don't know that there was a moment. We were hoping that would be the case from the beginning. If you looked at my slide deck that I made for myself in 2015, it was not about one piece of the puzzle. It was a sequence of parts that need to get built out, and a hope that if we do that, we can enable AI and we can enable a thinking machine. At the time it was crazy, but today it seems like maybe it's possible. And so we were always hoping to go in that direction, and what's happened over the last 5 years, of course, has accelerated that. Now everybody knows what it is, and it's been growing a lot faster than I expected. So yeah, we're very, very lucky to be at the forefront of that and hopefully become the standard.
Yeah, we see that evolving. So the word control plane is now coming into your vernacular. And I guess my question is, how would you first define the role of control plane when you're thinking about coordinating and governing distributed AI systems? We'll start at that sort of generic level.
So I think there's two planes. There's the data plane and the control plane, data path and control path. Data path is anything that is real-time IOs, things that need to be returned within a few microseconds. And then the control is the place where we see the entirety of the system. And in our case, the entirety of the system means around the globe, because we've built not a cluster, but what we call the data space. And so we need to govern, we need to control the compute aspects of the system, so structured data, the unstructured data. We need to decide where everything is, where it moves to. We need to decide where functions run close to where the information already is, or based on the type of processor that they need to run on, based on how urgent it is to complete that job. At that global scale, as agents start to form, we need to understand what each agent is allowed to see. It really is up and down the software infrastructure stack and wide. It lives in the cloud, it lives on-prem, it lives at the edge. It's now starting to live in the device. And that substrate, the word that we started using yesterday, which I like, is starting to form. And I think that is the control plane.
Okay, so now looking ahead, we're here today, and this is a great moment for the company, but thinking about the most difficult infrastructure challenges that still exist, how is VAST and your ecosystem partners starting to tackle those challenges?
I think it's all about everything is going to be 1,000,000 times faster, 1,000,000 times bigger. And it's not going to work in the old way anymore. Everything that we have today, it was built for the level of scale that people can accommodate. And now the machines are going to detach themselves from people. You see it in the economy. You see the GDP growth going up while employment is not going up at the same rate. And so it's a new revolution that is beginning. I think the last one was the Industrial Revolution, when we went from flat to low exponential growth. I think now we're going to go into high exponential growth, and everything is breaking down one thing after another. 2 years ago, it was shortage in GPUs. Last year, it was lack of power and power transformers. Now we're seeing data become the bottleneck in this growth, and we need to redo everything for this new era, build the new stack.
Great. Well, thank you for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Don Gentile, HyperFRAME Research, and thank you for joining us here at VAST Forward.